Welcome in. This is Mr. Fazulio for government. Happy Hope open house virtually in a different manner. Hopefully, you guys take time to watch this. I did send out something that I posted in Google Classroom. I tried to send it out in an email and teacher view. I don't know if you got to see it. It gives you a little bit more detail of our expectations. So I only want to take some time here to sort of review a little bit of that or walk you through government and what it's going to look like virtually here first semester. Hopefully us getting back, later this semester. So hopefully I can try to walk you through this rather in a reasonable manner here. A little bit more about me, which I stated in the other video. My 25th year here teaching in the district. When I came in 1995, 96, I was looking for a social studies job. The district was growing. NEQA was being built at the time. And I was able to get into, didn't get a social studies job, but I did what we called our vocational student tech arts, they call it. And I taught small engines and, auto maintenance class. It was rather interesting, but it was a great learning experience. After that, I got to go over to Granger and taught at the 7th grade level for a couple of years. And then I was able to come back here as a social studies teacher here at Waubonsie. So this is like my 23rd year here at Waubonsie. So over those 23 years, I've obviously taught government, American history, and world geography. Currently, I have three classes this year. Those are the three I have. If you don't know, some might, some may not. No big deal. But I was a former head baseball coach here for 14 years, from 2000 to 2014. And so after that, we sort of decided to, I started a family type of thing, and so have not been the head coach here, but still teaching here. So you could see up in the upper top of the screen there. Wasn't really happy that day. Some calls didn't go our way, but I'm usually pretty laid back, guys. So I'm not always losing my mind, as you could see me there. Of course, in the upper right, you can see my wife, my beautiful wife, and then our son, Logan, who is 6, who's in 1st grade, and he's also doing remote. And like I said, I just start right off the top of the bat. I commend you parents for doing what you can to make sure your son or daughter is staying on top of their work. And for some, it's senior year. Do you have some juniors in the class? And I know that's a challenge too. For their senior year and all that goes with it. So hopefully we can get back in person soon and get some sense of normalcy back in some way that they can have, especially for the seniors, can have their senior year. We're just hoping and praying for that. We just celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary as my wife and I. So that was great this past summer. It's on July 4th, and that's her birthday, so I can't forget. So it makes it easy for me. But with everything going on we were still able to get out and get on vacation, have some of that time, especially at the beach on the East Coast where my wife's originally from. So that was good. However, some of the goals here that you want you guys to be aware of as parents is, they're going to have a knowledge of the governmental system, the basics, are we a democracy? Are we a republic? We see, obviously, I know everybody with the election going on coming up, there's a lot of sensitivity going on and which side or the other. And so, we sort of want to give them the opportunity, want to lay the stuff out there for them, both sides, and then have them choose and see where they land or see where they fall. And some of them might know that already. And some of them might be like, well, I really don't know where I fall politically, But what we want to do is sort of give them some options out there to sort of look at all sides and how our democracy, how do we have characteristics of democracy and how can we identify those issues and who are the influencing policymakers, So with the content end, we're going to be looking at a lot of that. That's a key thing that they'll be getting their basic background knowledge, 3 branches of government, the principles of the Constitution, those things, purpose of government, that we're all looking at here in our first unit. So they will be getting those things as we go. The other thing is our units, since it's a semester course and they needed to graduate. Right now we're in foundations and rights. So we're just looking at the basics of the Constitution and how it operates and how do we as citizens work in and out of that. And how do we, we see a lot of First Amendment rights going on right now, with protesting and those types of things, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution and all that. The second part of our unit phases is citizenship and political socialization, which is very, very, this is where I'll talk more about the citizenship piece in a minute, but political socialization is where they're going to really find out where they sort of land politically. Are they more conservative, they're more liberal, they're moderate, they're sort of in between. And so they'll sort of understand the difference between Democrats and Republicans, hopefully, in that what makes up those two political parties. And then campaigning, elections, and voting. When we were in person, we did our own in-person campaign, which was nice, but that could change virtually on how we decide to do that. But with the election coming up in some 50 days or less here, it's really a great time to be in government, believe it or not. And so since that's just inundates us with the news all the time. Policy making, how laws are made. They'll do their own law bill activity. And then we look at the judicial system. So it's a wide range of covering all branches of government. But the big piece outside of the content and stuff that we'll be doing in our Zoom calls for now, or until we get back in the classroom and their independent work days, is they're going to be doing, as you can see here, what makes it, we call it an effective citizen project or civic engagement project, that the citizens are going to be exposed to various civic actions, which we'll do virtually. We've sort of changed this last year, second semester, when obviously we stopped coming to school. So we sort of pieced some things together. So I think we've created the other government teachers and we created a really nice flow of how to be an effective citizen virtually. And some of these things you can see here listed, registering to vote. When we get back in class, we'll do student deliberations where they can have their voice. And then that ties in with Project Soapbox. We've done that in school, and maybe we'll try to do some things virtually. And we'll have them, present legislation or listen to a board meeting. Watch a political talk show. This is something that's very, very big. So it's not only just it's the do, that they get to go out and do certain things or what they can do virtually, and just become more civic minded. And that's sort of the goal. And that's the goal of the state of Illinois. This has been something the state of Illinois has pushed to do over these last 4 or 5 years. So it's a combination of getting your background knowledge of government and how it operates, and then how do we move and how do we become effective citizens if we choose to do so. And that's a big part of the class also. Also looking at sort of expectations and stuff like that, classwork, late policy. Typically, if they don't turn in on time, they get it's a late assessment within that unit. And so I know students communicate all the time, hey, Mr. Fazilio, this came up and there was a family issue and so on and so forth. I'm very, very, fair and workable that, and kids are very good at communicating those things, to work out with that. If they don't communicate with me, it makes it very, very hard for me to sort of work with them if things are coming in late. Performance assessment and reassessments. These are things that are available to students within a lot of the classwork when it comes to our performance, like with summatives and assessments. And that's something maybe they can redo, something we might think is unacceptable in order to sit back. Mr. Fazilio, I really want to redo that performance assessment, which is a decent chunk of my grade. I really want to redo it. Can I redo it? How can I improve and go forth from there? Grading policies is sort of what I was mentioning. 75%, as you can see here, is on performance assessment. So for us, that'd be like, do we do deliberations? If we can do them through Zoom and breakout rooms, we'll do that. We could also have, in form of not a multiple choice test, but some other form of summative evaluation for each unit that we do. That all falls under performance. So we have different types of performance assessments. They'll be weighted heavier, which are more summative in what we're learning in the content. And so that's worth their overall 75% of the grade. On the other end, there's going to be just your regular homework assignments that are worth 10%, which is that easy 10% to grab and get as long as you're turning stuff in consistently. Then that 15% is really the Effective Citizens Project, and that's the one that everybody is sort of working on throughout the semester. And we're going to be walking the kids through this in the next week or so, and you'll get a better grasp of what they need to do. And so it's a really cool thing. It helps them step out and really understand, okay, how does the government work for me, and how can I participate in our characteristics of of democracy that we have? And so that's 15%, which would be turned in at the end of the semester. So you can see sort of the breakdown of that. And then also, I'm going to try to do the best I can. And this is something that some of the other teachers were trying to implement in our department, is some type of feedback. So every couple of weeks, if I put in a 3, a 2, or a 1, or a 0, it sort of gives me an idea. Hey, your son or daughter is being really engaged. Hey, they're in Zoom, they're attentive, and I can call on them. And then when they have their independent work days, they're getting that outside work done before we come back to a live session. Are they always engaged, doing great? Yeah, they got 3 for the last couple of weeks. If they're sort of really not given any much of an effort, it could be a 0. So it sort of gives you an idea. That little grade gives you an idea of like, hey, they're participating, they're not. And then maybe we have to, email me or something, or contact me. Also, sort of to wrap this up, is how to contact me. You see my email, you see the phone number there. Pretty easy. You can contact me throughout the school day. I'm pretty good about getting back. After that 4 o'clock hour, when everybody sort of goes home and starts to unwind, it's maybe might not get back to you right away, depending. But I'm usually pretty good. If you email me throughout the school day, I get to you right away, pretty much in a timely manner, as I've put down here. Also, last thing, please email me through regular school email. That'll be really nice. Do that, okay? Email me there. The teacher view, we're finding out, is really sort of tricky for me to get to, and so if you want a quick, more of a turnaround of response, please email me at my regular or school email that you see here on the screen. I think that's the best way to do it, and I can get back to you as quickly as I can. I told the students to do that also. Don't sort of go through the student view. That's sort of tough for me to contact and get right back to you right away, or get those messages. So school email is the best way. And I would say, and you also can leave a phone message that goes through to my email also. If you want to leave a voice message, that works too. So that, I know it's really a lot in a nutshell and trying to move really quick here, but I'm excited to try to adapt and mold and shape and do the best we can to get through this school year, or the start of this school year. So hopefully we can get back in person. Like I said, I'm excited, and I'll do everything in my power to try to make this flow as easy as possible as we can in these these impactful times that we're going through. So once again, thank you for watching, and let's get it rolling, and let's move it forward.